The Rivermen, directed by Monroe Beehler, under the name Marc Aaron, is a moody, stylized, rare release by Beehler and his production company Jaguar. On this episode, we're going to take a look at Marc Aaron's The Rivermen, a film that has been applauded for its cinematography and is an example of storyline erotic films that were released during the golden age of gay erotica. This is Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is Ike Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped to get off. The Rivermen was written by Robert Warner and is well fleshed out, as it was produced during the time when, in order to get around obscenity laws, films deemed pornographic had to be deemed socially redeemable, and many studios did so by adding a storyline. Many studios back then, like today, had flimsy plots. However, The Rivermen is not that bad, and it also has beautiful cinematography.
Now they say that you can never go home again. And I suppose that's true, because nothing ever remains the same. Time has a way of changing things. Which leads me to my story, and to this young man, Ernie.
The Rivermen tells a story of two men, Bert and Ernie. Yes, I know. Who arrive at the same time to Ernie's hometown, a small river town, in search of a man named Rick. We learn Rick is Bert's younger brother, and the former lover of Ernie's, and no one has heard from him in 2 years. We learn all this and more through the film's narrator, who is also the film's director, Marc Aaron. Aside from philosophy, the narrator tells us Ernie and Rick were lovers. Rick left without telling Ernie. We then meet Bert, who is Rick's brother, and who Ernie at first mistakes for Rick. After a light chase, Ernie meets Bert, where he learns he is Rick's brother, who came down from Canada to try and find his brother, who he hasn't heard from in a year.
For a moment, I thought you were an old friend of mine. You have an accent. So did my friend.
I'm Bert. I just come from Canada.
By God, you're Rick's brother.
How do you know this?
Ernie tells Bert that Rick was mixed up with a bad crowd, specifically a guy named Andy. They agreed to find Rick, but not before. Well, we'll get back to that later. After taking a swim in the river, they devise a plan, and the first thing they do is pay Andy a visit. Andy is of no help.
I got somebody I'd like you to meet.
Yeah?
Yeah, this is Bert, Rick's brother.
So what? I don't know anything. I tell you all I know, man. Fuck off.
He leaves and we meet Mike and Mark. Take it away, narrator.
Mike, who you might call sort of a wild, pretty boy, and Mark, a rugged guy, who was just about the best fuck along the river. Now, Ernie would testify to this, because he just about fucked Mark's old ass every chance he got. But then again, Ernie would fuck anything.
Mark goes to try and find other guys to round up and catch Andy in a lie. But everyone seems to be having sex. They try to get Andy to take a boat trip with them along the river, and he agrees. Bert and Ernie share an endearing kiss. Bert shares his discomfort in finding out something may have happened to his brother.
I feel like running away. Now. Like it now, the fucking knife. Running away.
Well, why don't you run? Get it out of your system. Come on, run.
Get it out of you.
All of the Rivermen get together and cruise up the delta to try and find some sign of Rick. We get some individual shots of guys as well as a scenic view. They head to the point where Andy would go and hide stuff he had stolen. As the journey continues, obviously all the men are going to get horny, and they do what they have to do. In the morning, they all sneak off the boat, so Andy doesn't wake up and explore the point. While Ernie and Mark sneak away for some morning sex, Bert comes across a makeshift cross and a chain he had given his brother. He runs back to the guys and lets them know. Armed with little proof, they confront Andy, who just gives it all away.
Andy, why don't you confess?
Okay, you want to know the truth? You got the truth. The punk was going to turn me in, so I killed him.
A good old-fashioned Dukes of Hazzard chase ensues. Well, not really. It just looks like they're playing, honestly. They catch up with Andy and chase him down slowly with a station wagon. Then they just, well, commit vehicular homicide. After alerting the police, they discover Rick's body and give him a nice funeral. Or so the narrator says. As for Bert and Ernie, we learn Bert is not going to stay with Ernie. And after some sexy time, Bert and Ernie say goodbye.
Ernie, I told you I was adrift now. I can't stay in the same place too long. I get restless.
What are you trying to say?
Then I can promise you I will stay here when this is over.
The truth is, The Rivermen is not such a bad film. It's campy, but outside of a sex film, it's pretty decent, and you can thank the obscenity laws for that. Even still, you can tell the director Marc Aaron knew a thing or two about a thing or two when it came to production. The sex scenes were well lit and masterfully captured. I don't think I've seen close-ups that clear and this well done in many of the films during this time. The score is suspenseful when it has to be and collective when it calls for it, setting the mood well. Aside from that, the opening and closing song is Love Had Tied My Wings by Jon Stewart, which I'm sure was not paid for, but everybody was doing it back then. The Rivermen was produced and released in 1973, and I can only imagine what it must have been like to watch this on the big screen at the Century Theater. In late 1980, the film had a theatrical re-release in some bigger cities like New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. The Rivermen by Marc Aaron has been called one of the best cinematic gay porn films before the advent of the VCR. You've been watching Demystifying Gay Porn. I'm your host, Ike Grande. Demystifying Gay Porn can be found on every podcast directory as well as YouTube. Demystifying Gay Porn is on X, Facebook, Instagram, Substack, Threads. And if you like what you're watching or listening to and want to be a part of the process, head over to patreon.com/demystifying gay porn, where you can support this podcast and YouTube channel, and I can continue making content like you've just enjoyed. As always, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a like, leave a comment, and let me know what else you'd like me to cover. This is Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is Ike Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off.